Greetings, this is Joanna from Heavenly Radiance. Thank you so much for tuning in today. So excited. It is February 10th. 10 is one of my favorite numbers. And I'm also doing this beautiful reading with some new crystals, some beautiful smoky quartz, which helps with the auric field and grounding and clearing out negative and energies. I've also got some stromatolite. Stromatolite is a Precambrian crystal, one of the oldest fossils, and you can see the beautiful designs that are in this. Beautiful, beautiful crystals assisting with empowerment, aligning with one's true mission of who we are through growth, understanding that all energies allow us to see the stories within, especially fossils. This is known as a fossil. The banding, can you see the banding and the designs? And then on this side, and as I've said before in my radio shows, the designs and the different things that are on the rocks, the different energies, your energy of your consciousness changes rocks, changes fossils and crystals. And many of my crystals have changed over time as I hold them and as I work with them. And I see my celestial family's faces and energies in the rocks that are with me, teaching me and showing me as all timelines come into now and my consciousness changes and shifts within this beautiful new now consciousness. And so this being the week of love, and I love Gaia, I love crystals, I love all that Gaia offers in healing and restoration of who we are and the recognition and remembrance of who we are. And so that's what this focus will be this week on our readings, is how we can move about through our shamanic storytelling, through our shamanic healing, calling in the energies of Gaia, calling in the energies that we've created with Gaia, the consciousness that we've created with Gaia, and all that she offers in celebration of love, in celebration of who we are as love from the Holy Creator, Spirit, the universal energies, and allow it to be imbued and infused in all that we are, all that we co-create, truly dropping and living from that space of the heart, releasing what we can as far as the mind and the ego organization and management of our lives, and to truly slip within a beautiful experience of heartfelt living, soulful living, which is pure love. So we allow you and invite you to join us in these beautiful celebrations of love. As we begin our shuffling of our shamanic storytelling, we ask all of the consciousness of Gaia, the divine and beautiful Elohim, the spirit and soul guides listening now and future now moments to assist in this storytelling through the Christic vibrations is a multidimensional vibration through our intention of love, through our intention of sacredness, through our intention of being all that we are as divine souls, releasing all that no longer serves, allowing these healings to take place through the vibration of acceptance, through the vibration of allowance, that these healings take place, to release all negative and lower vibrations that no longer serve our expanding and our accelerating path to oneness and to wholeness. And we ask that all energies now be released and healed and transmuted with the greatest of ease and beauty and care for our soul's journey to explore greater aspects of love. And we ask that these be done in the highest of benevolence for the divine souls, the perfection of their souls and their higher selves blueprint, so that they also allow themselves to explore all that they are in the divine perfection of creation as love. And we thank you, Divine Spirit, our healing teams, our celestial teams, the divine Elohim, the Christ collective, the spirit guides, through the angels and the archangels and the brotherhoods and sisterhoods of light, through the many heavens and the many councils and beings that are with us. And we thank you, each and every one of you. And we'll draw two. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, wow, how gorgeous. Those are our animal cards, our animal energy cards. Thank you, divine sacred animals. And it was beautiful this morning. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the dragonfly, which is magic, one of my beautiful and one of my most favorite insects, dragonflies. I love it, dragonflies. Driving to, taking the kids to school this morning, there was a coyote that crossed the road, and I was just in awe of its movement. This is a wolf, but the coyote was crossing the road, and I just was brought to tears, just in its envelope of energy and the stories. I was asking for, the stories of the coyote and the energies of the coyote to come forward and just to share with me its experience. It's beautiful, sacred animal. I love coyotes. And they're very solitary, and they move about the land very solitary and quiet, and they go about their business, they go about their path, undisturbed by, their crumbling world around them, as far as their ability to get to nature more readily than they used to. But they're very solitary animals in the movements of their paws against the ground. It's their path with the earth. It's very intuitively, driven and sown. And the coyote was kind of sniffing the path that it was walking on, as all of the cars were, kind of watching it and taking in this beautiful morning of experience. And that beautiful card, wow. Thank you. And this is the Shaman's Oracle deck. I'm going to take 3 from there. So, this is the Shaman's Oracle deck by John Matthews. It's another one of my favorite decks, so thank you. Work with that. And then we're going to do the Alana Fairchild deck, Sacred Rebel. Love the Sacred Rebel deck. I'll just take one card from this one. It's always got beautiful synchronistic stories for me. And the card, one of my favorite cards that I seem to pull all the time, is Legacy of Light. And this is the image of the card. And it's very profound in the ways that we are now taking upon our own unique soul story and integrating all of our ancestors and our lineage and our history, so that we come forward in new ways as a human collective. We come forward in the integration of all that we have been, as we integrate each soul fragment and soul aspect, and we choose anew. We're centering and we're choosing anew every moment of who we choose to be and who we desire to be upon this new earth, in the story that is love. And these are profound stories on our ability to release, to let go, to start anew. So we'll pull one card. A beautiful week of love. I think we've already pulled that one before. Yes, we did pull this one before. It's a beautiful card. We'll pull another one. Yes, we'll pull that one too. And this is my beautiful deck, and I get a big kick out of this deck. This is the Wildwood Tarot. I love this deck. This deck gets me laughing. I don't know why, but sometimes the artwork on these cards are so profound and prophetic that I get the energy within the cards, and I just end up just having a good laugh. It's like these artists were tapping into my energy stream and my experiences and my stories and bringing it to life. We're going to pull 2 from this because it's a huge deck. This is a really big deck. You can see how big it is. It's a pretty big deck. I'll pull 2 from this. This is going to probably be a longer reading today because I've got more cards. I wanted to play with more decks today in this beautiful experience of love. This one I have never had before. Oh boy, wow, look at that one. But we're going to have lots of fun with that. We are going to have lots of fun with that. And our beautiful tree oracle, Wisdom of the Tree Oracle by Jane. Hello, Jane. Thank you. There's another one of my favorites. These are the decks I work with every day. Mostly every day. Work with these. This one came popping out. And we'll pull this one. So thank you, Jane. All right. Let's get busy. I'm just going to have some tea. Oh, thank you. Wow, let's get busy. Thank you. We're going to call in the beautiful loon. That was the first card to pop out today. And the loon, listen to the song within your soul. Trust the intuitions that you have on your way of knowing of who you are and what you're here for and the gifts that you offer. This is so perfect to start off the beginning of our beautiful love week. Love is intuitive. Love is within all things. It's threaded and pulsing within all things. It is source creator. And so that source creator element, that source creator vibration and pulsation is what we align with. It's how we co-create as the alchemists that we are. Why we activate and move through everything that we are is love. It's intuitive. Love seeks love. Love wants to play and color with love. Emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude. Recognize that you are unique and that you are loved. And you can see the beautiful story that's playing out. And we've had this card before, and this mother is kind of moving through these energies of where she's moving on her path. And she understands that the story of the babies and the love that is all around in this home that she's made, and the goings on, the intuitiveness that she's moving through moment for moment, step for step with, and how love is her emanation. You can just feel the love that's emanating, and these babies and these chicks are looking to her for that wisdom and that evolutionary experience. She teaches and she guides through that intuitive knowingness. She knows where she's going. She knows what she's doing. She understands the platform beneath her and above her and around her. And it's the evolution of movement within love, within all elements that she's practicing within, she's honoring within. And it's an intuitive ride. It's an intuitive dance. And thus then allowing us to find our path. Our path is the fluidic movement of love of who we are as a soul. We're pathfinders through the feeding of who we are as the soul. And as that coyote was showing me this morning, that coyote was crossing a very busy highway, and that was the intuitive path that coyote was taking. There was no stopping and hesitating. It was going. And of course we all stopped for it and its beauty and its wonder and its majesty. But those are intuitive elements that there is no plan. The coyote doesn't have a plan. It doesn't have a map. It moves through life in cohesion and communion with Gaia of its paths taken before, how it smells its way around, how it maneuvers its way around intuitively. And the wolf is release your past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and you can help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have love that endures. And love is the enduring pathfinder. It's the intuitive pathfinder. It is the evolutionary path, that we are all evolving, and we are all the revolutionists to our own soul's journey. The integration of all of our soul aspects and our soul fragments means that, and we've never looked at it as before, and it's just occurring to me now as I'm saying this, as these energies are coming forward, as the ancestors are speaking through me. Thank you, ancestors of holy light. That as we move forward in our integration and love of who we are, and just moving with the love of our path is love and our love is path. The love that we are is carving our path. The path that is love allows us to integrate the fullness of all that we are, meaning that we're not living from that solitary aspect of who we thought we were. We're living it from the aspect of all that we are, the wholeness that we are, which means that we carry great gifts, we carry great wonders, we carry great blessedness, we carry great wisdoms and intelligences that we can now integrate into the fullest path that we can carve for ourselves. So our path becomes ever wider, it becomes ever winding, it becomes ever magical and mystical. But we have to allow ourselves to intuitively drop within that soul of who we are, that heart of who we are, to allow these flowings and these inspirations and the universe to live through us and work with us, not us having to manage and micromanage every aspect of the path, because that's not living in full faith and trust of who you are, spirit with spirit. That's just trying to micromanage your path and control it all. That's ego. And that's the ego wanting to manipulate how spirit wants to flow, when there's far greater majesty that's unfolding if we just allow it and trust it. You're the pathfinder. And if there's things that come up that are uncomfortable or ill at ease, then you have what you need to transcend over it and through it and around it. And that's your love, your love of all that is, regardless of how that challenge is masked. Because that makes us the masters that we are. So those are really profound. And there are new journeys. This is a really profound time of journeys and tapping into the path that is love. And the path that is what we were talking about is inspiration. And we see the beautiful, the dancer of inspiration. And what's illuminating to me is the path. For me, I'm assuming that this is an important part of our story today, is the path. that we are the path. We are that heartfelt light that is here saying, I'm anchoring who I am. I understand that I'm here for a great reason. I'm understanding that I am a part of this dance of creation, and I'm choosing to open up who I am and begin anew. And I will raise my arms and I will raise all that I am to the higher heavens for greater inspiration. I will anchor it again to illuminate this path before me, because I understand that I affect the all and the all affects me. And how may I dance through this inspiration moment for moment for moment for moment? I know I'm gifted. I know that I'll be blessed. I know that I will be given what I need when I need it. I have ancestors living through me. And all of these sparks of light that you see on the wall of this carving are all the ancestors that are adding to this path of light that you in your human form are now walking, but they're all living through you. It's how we are aware of it, the crucible of all that we are. And we see there's always a crucible point. That crucible point is the harmonization of all that is above and below, and we're harmonizing within the hearts of all that we are, now anchoring it down to the planet that requires us and needs us. And are we aware of this? Because this awareness comes from your heart space. It's where your soul lives through. So that you're constantly given new inspirations. And there will be those aspects of our path that might be sorrowful. So how are we able to allow that? The path is ever cyclical and it's ever changing, which means that there will be parts of our path that we're going to have to let go of and they're showing me on a path and tribes that are working on a piece of land, and they've stayed on the land for a while, and the land has been imprinted with their tribe, and the land has shown the place where their fire was, and the land has been shown where they had to dig and have rocks divot into the earth. And as they're ready to move into a new movement, they're nomads and they're traveling. Before they head forward into that new journey of exploration, they amend the land where they last laid. So they're covering the land up. They're ensuring that their respect for the land and what the land has offered and given them has been paid respect and paid honor by them putting dust over the marks and their markings, that they have poured water from their caskets of their tubs of water, and they're pouring it onto the place where their fire was, bringing new dirt on top of it to replace it, as if they're sowing new seeds of appreciation and gratitude for the land. So that although their path has come with challenges, and they've had to stay there perhaps longer than they wanted to, but they're honoring for where they've been and what they've moved through. And they're allowing their sorrows to be a part of that story and to honor and to take those lessons with them, to know that all things are honored, all experiences are blessed, all experiences have all energies held within it, all source held within it for what you needed to learn when you needed to learn it, and be blessed by it. And so the shaman of sorrows allows us to know that the shaman is always working within all energies to transmute, not necessarily that, we can't experience anything that's negative, because when we were bringing our kids up, we wanted to fix and heal everything so that our kids wouldn't have to experience sorrow or pain, but that's a part of life. And it's not the parent's job to make life so easy that the kids cannot cope in any situation that is life. It's our inspiration to inspire them to be their best, to know that they have everything within them to move against life's challenges. I mean, we're at the most important time of humanity's transition into awakeness, because we're each here to transcend what we've all created through time, through the separation story, through the less than, greater than, or the fears that we've all carried. And that will create sorrow, that will create the pains of transition that will occur. That's life. That's how we become the shamans that we are, so that we understand that sorrows will be there, and it's a part of that growth process. And to make amends and to create that gratitude and appreciation for where you've come from and where you've been, so that you're honoring every step, not cutting it out and shutting it away or turning it off as if it didn't exist. It's allowing that part to be honored within your story, so that you can honor all that you are. It's a part of you. And it's a part of the etching that is you and your soul. And it comes with great story and with great vibration if you allow it to be. And it's a natural part of the cyclical journey that is life, that is humanity. That's very beautiful. It's beautiful how these readings just get so deep and so expansive. And this one is coming up with a really exciting, you can see the many images of this, is the spirit of truth. And what we were just talking about, sorrow and pain and the transitions that we all move through, and the transitions of healing and relationships shifting and families transitioning. There's so much that's occurring for humanity at an individual and a collective level that all are within the truth of it. Every soul comes with its own unique truth, and each soul has a unique truth that it is here to move through and to transcend and transform and experience and express and be a part of their unique soul's truth. However, that soul's truth might not be the truth of others that they've met along the way. That soul truth is specific to that soul truth, and it will call in those, and it will call in the experiences and the locations and the beings and the all that soul wants to experience. That soul will co-create higher from the higher self and from the soul itself. And that's that specific soul truth that is that mask of what that personality construct, those soul fragments that we're all healing. This is this now moment, and this is the face of that soul. This soul right now is experiencing its own soul truth in this own way. And it might not be the way of others, or the ones that they've come with, or the ones that they thought they were going to be with. But to honor it through the process of this growth, because each of these etchings are representative of the growth that soul has gone through, and the movement that it's moved up. And then it's gone through these various stages of transitioning and moving from scale to scale to scale to scale. That is what's been known as the ladder and the stairs of ascension, because it is this ever winding path, ever refined into who you are as a soul and what your soul truth is. That soul truth is specific to each and every person, and it changes throughout your time, because what your soul truth was here is not what it is here, or here, or here, or here. Your soul truth becomes ever refined as you do, ever expansive as you do. And so allow the stories of the unveiling not only to be intuitive, to be led from your heart, to be led from the space of the soul and the spirit that is, and all of your surroundings as the love that it is. But this unique journey that each soul takes is unique and blessed. And it's not to be judged good or bad or otherwise, because they're all adding to the piece of the whole. And that all souls, their truths are true. Their specific stories, their lessons, their honors, their sorrows, their pains are all unique to them for their own unique soul's growth, and should be honored as yours is, as yours has always been. And we honor the face that we each take, the stories we tell, and the garments we want to garner each step of the way. And what vibration do you want to take yourself into next? What face do you want to color next? What gown, what outfit, what robe do you want to place on yourself next as the vibration, if you will? And how can that be another stage of your evolutionary journey? What truth is coming through from the heavens, through your pillar of light, through all that you are? How may you allow yourself to explore and expand in these brand new, beautiful ways? It's beautiful. And the next one that's coming up in our shamanic story is diving for light. And we've talked about these beautiful seahorses before and how they just kind of move with life. And it's just reminding me of the loon, on how life is very fluidic if we allow it to be, how we can allow light to come to us, because we are it. If we allow ourselves to be within the soul embodiment of who we are as souls, we are living as soulful humans now. We are not the physical individuation that we thought we were. We are far grander and far wider and far more rich than we ever thought. And if we allow ourselves to live from the soul essence is encapsulated by everything that this person is. She is the soul. She has aspects within the ocean. She has aspects within the waters and within the reefs and the corals. She's all of it. That's the soul living as the soul. And this is just the visual representation of what her soul is honoring. So if she allows herself to live and be from this diving platform of her depth of her soul, then she will allow the decoration, she will allow the weaving and the beauty of all that she is just to naturally come forward. When I see this card, it's a natural and elegant beauty of all that she is as a soul. And sometimes we get taken off track because we're trying as the ego to make something happen, or force something to happen, or fix something for someone. And it's not our role to do that. We're stepping out of that place of light, that natural essence, soulful place that is light. If we allow ourselves to constantly live from this place, we become our soul, and we are transfixed and we are transmuted by that. And what's coming to me right now is many of the energies I've been sensing lately is that preparing, my soul is preparing me for how things will shift and change. Meaning that in what we say time, understand time, is that what and how life will look in 3 months from now is not how it will look now, because everything within me is changing, and that changes how I look, how I see things, how I see myself. And my face is changing. I've noticed my face, and even my voice has changed. Everything is changing as I integrate all aspects of my soul, integrating the bubbles, integrating the coral, integrating the seahorse, integrate all this as my soul. Every fragment I come in to heal, I become new, because I'm living as my soul. I'm as my higher self. The higher self is the aspect of all of these soul fragments that have gone forward and needed my recognition and my healing to bring in, to live in this beautiful new light. We just see this light right here, but she is coming forward through this light. This light is the soul, and it encompasses everything that she is. And the only way to do that is to understand that, yes, we're living intuitively. We're living as the pathfinders of our own soul. We're living as the co-creators of our own light and our soul's song. Everybody's soul's song is going to be unique and different, and it's supposed to be that way. But if we're not living intuitively, then we're living from the ego personality perspective, not the soul perspective, which is fine. We all move through those experiences in every day, but we're learning more and more to surrender and be a part of the soul entirety, because then we live within the perfection of all that we are. The soul in and of itself is all of this. Our individual personality, day by day moment, is not just this one fragment of sacred geometry. It's the whole thing. So how may we come forward and truly live as this bursting soul that is all life, that is the creator, that is the trees and the stars and the plants and the soils and the water and the elements of earth? We are this sacred geometry, ever evolving in spirals up into our exploration and expression of who we are as the Holy Spirit, as Christ in human form. We say Christ as the multidimensional Christed energies that are allowing us to experience our omnipresent. And it doesn't have, it's not based on religious dogma. It is the most expansive essence of the atom, Kadmon, energy particles, that is light. The Merkaba, light body as light. That's good tea. So thank you, dear ones. And you can see how this is just weaving a really, really beautiful story. And look at this. This is profound. And this card, you can see, look at her face. I'll bring these cards up. And this is why these creators really profound, just their artistry is just profound. This card, I'll be honest with you, has always made me feel uncomfortable. It's not a comfortable feeling card. And this is the Three of Stones, which they have labeled as creativity. But what I'm seeing, what the story is coming from this is that it's kind of when creativity has been unleashed. So perhaps this is the story of what occurs when creativity is not unleashed. This is how I'm reading the energy of this card. And you can see the images in the stone that she's had to face that have been the energetic imprints of her power and her passion to create that has been held back. See how she's rooted into the grounds and into the sands. And so I'll see the rocks here. There's obviously some water nearby because there's moss and it's very damp and wet. But they've grown moss, which has taken an incredibly long time. And the roots of her dress have been sewn in. And she's in this stone of barricade, which means that she's held back her creativity. She's held back the vessel of all that she is. And they've even noted the belly button, which is the womb energy of her sustenance through the umbilical cord. There's nothing that's been missed here. Everything that she is as a soul is meant to be beautiful, colorful, and creative, but she's held herself back through her own beliefs, through her own ideologies of less than or lack, or that her creativity was not important enough, and that these three stones have been her safety. They've been her safety because she hasn't felt. I mean, her face is not comfortable, is it? She feels as if she's been held back, but there's nothing that is within her power. She has grounded and anchored herself and rooted herself in that space of non-creativity. which is what this card represents to me. It doesn't represent creativity to me. It represents what occurs when we do not create, when we do not allow ourselves to flow and to be magical and to be colorful. Because when we allow ourselves to flow and be colorful, we become that ever glow and blossom of light and color and exploration. I mean, it becomes all that we are. I mean, this is the experience of creativity. There's color, there's imagination, there's movement, there's experience, there's flow, there's everything that is the experience of creativity. So this is the story of what occurs when we hold ourselves back, what occurs when we think that we're rooted into something that no longer fits and serves us. What do we become when we allow ourselves to be so solidified that our creativity is hindered and we're not allowing ourselves to move and be fluid and imaginative? Everything that we are is vibration and sacred geometry and movement. The creative energy and love must flow. There's sacred geometry and light within it all when we're allowing ourselves. So this to me is the story of, although the Three of Stones in contemporary and traditional tarot means something different, for me, this is the breaking point where she decides that she can stay in this dress and be rooted into non-change. I mean, it doesn't look very colorful and creative to me. She's allowed herself to be fully grounded into a situation that necessarily doesn't feel that great because you can see the coloring on her face, but she can allow herself to take off the clothing and the mask of what she thought was creativity and allow all of that to be left behind and to start anew as the sun, which is the naked child, which is the evolutionary awakened child, to be that free, creative, sovereign self and held back by nothing. So at every point in our journey, we must leave what no longer serves. We must leave the clothes of density. We must leave the vibrations and the stones that we felt we were held behind and within, that altar of bondage. This is really bondage to me. It's a feeling of bondage from not believing in oneself to be creative, and what happens when we are so transfixed by the illusions that bind us, and how cementing it can feel. And these were once her dreams that have now turned into stone because they're now old stories and illusions held within her encompassed lack of movement, stagnancy. And so these are the stories that we all break from. When is it time to change? You know, to what extent are we willing to stay stagnant and release ourselves from the non-light? Because it's comfortable, because it's what we've always known, because others might not appreciate it or understand it. And that's okay. That's okay, because that's part of when she takes these clothes off and becomes that naked essence of who she is as perfection, then she will grow that new gown. She will allow that gown to just surface onto her skin. She will co-create it from the emanations of her freedom and her joy and her happiness and exaltation to be free. She is the light. And there's those moments where we all move through to change and shift stagnancy, because then we become, when we do, this is the transitions phase. This is the ancestor. And it's so beautiful because, you know, we've called the ancestors in and, you know, thanking them for this glorious journey. But you see that how this ancestor stands in all of her glory, because she has explored. She has the cloak of honor and representation of her journey. She has her tools of transformation and alchemy. She has herself secured in a way that is representation of honor and grace and authenticity, of wisdom that she holds within the forest. Her altar is the forest. And the new moon that offers that new beginning of new birth. And she's allowing it to be sung and heard. She's allowing it to be her song of who she is. And she's standing bravely within the elements. And she's crossing this threshold anew. She is the ancestor that's living through each and every one of us to say, you have a voice, you must sing. You must come forward in all the elegance that you are and be all that you are and show the histories and the stories and the wisdoms of the ages, because it's you. You have been every part of that journey that's taken her to where she is now. That's why she stands as she does. She stands at the altar of prominence, of eminence, of grandeur, knowingness, I mean, it's just, for me, it's just profound. This is eminence, majesty, within the forest, within the stars, within the sky, within the earth, within the human vessel, within all that we are. This is majesty. We must walk those trials and tribulations so that we know thyself. Wow, what a profound story. Thank you. And we're going to go to these beautiful trees that have given us their energy and their light, and we call in the beautiful energies of Gaia. And what beautiful imagery we have for this. The first tree that came up, that just popped out, and we see the beautiful, look at the beautiful picture on that. Just so lovely, and it's got the beautiful watercolor. It's called the linden tree, and the linden tree has our beautiful story in this first day of Love Week is peace. Look at my heart-shaped leaves if you want to understand my affectionate message for you. Try to send out love and peace everywhere you go, to whatever you are and wherever you are. For regardless of what your circumstances are, love can always heal. And that's what the rainbow and the dove, the peace, the dove is the peace. You are finding life too hectic or demanding. Look for opportunities to be peaceful and quiet each day, even if it's only for a minute or two. Go outside and appreciate the beauty and the peace that is all places everywhere. And what's coming to me not only is the rainbow, a meaning of blessings, and the heavens and the skies coming down to meet you and bless you and gift you, but it's, again, we're talking about the path and the trials and the landscape, and the landscape that we all move through. And you can see that as we're moving through this journey, there's the insect and the fly and the tree and all that is love and that is peace that this represents. But allowing us to know that regardless of where the landscape is and what trials we may move through to get to this rainbow, or to feel that blessing of that rainbow, that it's also here, and it's here, and it's here, and it's here. But it's how we perceive and how we want to adjust our sight. Do we want to adjust our sight as always far off and not yet reachable? Or do we want to adjust it to know that peace is in all things and love is in all things? It's in all things. Wherever you can perceive, if you so choose, you can choose that everything I see today will be love and light. Everything that I see and experience today will be peace. I will seek it. I will find it. That's our choice. That's living from that mindful consciousness, to say that I am the creator of my reality and I choose to seek peace. I choose to emulate and radiate and illuminate peace. I choose to be the essence of all that is love. And I will see it everywhere. This is love. That's love. That's love. That's love. It's all love. It's all source. The more that we see it, the more that we see it. The more that we co-create with it. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. And the next one that came out, and I'm also seeing something that is synchronistic within this one that I'll mention in just a second. And this one is the Indian bean tree. And what is coming out to me is the beautiful light pink, which is the Christ consciousness color. This is the Indian bee tree, and it symbolizes vitality. My beautiful trumpet-shaped flowers are greeting the sun in the summer, and I show off my sweet pods. Let me teach you how to make the most of your many talents and attributes so that you can regain your vitality. One of the best ways to heal yourself at the moment is to embrace every day with enthusiasm. In all that you do, you can make it the most beautiful. Treat people that you meet with respect and an open heart. So how may we move about life with greater beauty and peace and vitality, knowing that our journey will be emotionally and vibrationally cyclical and moving. There will be times of stillness, and there will be times of great challenge. There'll be times of sorrow, and there'll be times of great tearing off of the robes and creating new robes. There will be times where all those that we meet will be teaching us lessons of beauty and stillness and inner peace. But it's the path of the ascending human, of the shamanic human, that allows all that is in all moments to be the representation of the story of the self, the whole self, the spirit of love living through us, so that we can appreciate all things that we see and all things that are not seen. You know, we can see the images of spirit in all things. We're projecting it to be a certain way. for that's what, in the beginning of ascension and awakening, there was a definite collective vibration of those that were awakening, that ascension and awakening was to look like something, it was to be a certain experience, because we had no idea what ascension was going to be about, right? We had the teachings from old about ascension, but there was very few that had gone through ascension, especially at a huge collective level, that we were to understand what it was going to look like or feel like. But as the years tread on, and especially for the old soul, when we're traversing such deep emotional journeys and deep transformations physiologically, biochemically, emotionally, mentally, I mean, everything is just shifting and changing. I can feel myself on many different dimensions at one time. How it was supposed to look and feel was a completely different story than how I feel now. And so really, we've gone through many deaths, releasing the casing and the encasing that we thought we were supposed to be in and experience. Because it's not like that at all. That's the ego trying to make it fit into something we can't understand or should understand. We're allowing ourselves to simply just drop into the heart and be light. Drop into the soul and be that essence of light. Drop into the oneness with source and allow all things to be perfect and all knowing and all moving and flowing, and to live from that space of oneness at the heart. And to allow ourselves to dance and be free and be joyful with who we are. And that's the freedom and the liberation of who we are as spirit. It's not a mind felt. When we dance, the mind is put in neutral, and the body connects with the heart and just moves and flows and moves to the rhythm of whatever the heart is feeling around it, to move with it in synchronicity, in unison. And it feeds from that heartfelt energy, not what the mind is saying, okay, I'm going to step left now, I'm going to step 2 back, I'm going to step forward. There are those moments of, if you're a professional dancer, the mind, yes, is involved. But the fluidic movement of any artist, whether they're a painter or a dancer, they'll tell you that it's a zone that's deeply soulful. The spirit just moves. And that's what we're moving from. We're moving from the encasing and the bindings of what our vibrational path from 3 to 4D, which we hold in great honor. We do. We hold these transitions with great honor, and that's what these stones represent. They do represent bindings and they do represent bondage, but we hold it with great honor, because the greater the bondage that we've held ourselves within is the greater freedom and liberation we will feel and experience. So we honor it. We don't devalue it. We don't toss it out and say that doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, it does matter. It's you. It has to matter. It's you. And if we do that, because I've experienced it, the faster that we try to shut it out, turn it off, or close it away and say it doesn't matter, the more you're going to stay on that cycle of it, to experience it again until you honor it. Because this ascension path, this ascension journey is about self-love and self-honor. We can't resist or turn off and not exist on any part of who we are. That's what the unification of our whole entire planet is about, not judging any aspect of it. Accepting it as the choice that is source, and then choosing from our soul's point of view and perspective on what our heart's desires are. Our choices will not be other people's choices, and that's okay. But we can choose to dive within our own light and make our own path what we can make it, and be the example for others, that they don't have to remain in bondage to what has always been, that they can unearth themselves and create anew, and live fluidically as if we're floating upon earth, and living with her in these fluidic movements of transition and change. That's when we truly become, the beautiful Pathfinder that knows we have all wisdoms within us. I mean, look at this, look at the eyes. This is steadfast. I know where I'm going, know what I'm doing. I will find my way. The next step won't be known, but I will take it. So powerful. So thank you, dear lighted ones, for this powerful exploration of love and light and spirit within all things. And we thank you, and we wish you a very happy, beautiful day filled with love of who you are as spirit and soul in the human embodiment of transition and change. Namaste. We love you.